proceed. Oh, wait. So today is week 10 for our research method. So last week we already, yeah, you already sit for your midterm. So you only have your assignment that you need to submit. So today we will proceed with this one, validity of your data in research. Okay, validity. So if you go and scroll this course plan, there's no more exercise that need to discuss because we already covered everything and the test is done also. So we will only focusing on the lecture note. Okay, you go and scroll. So we're only focusing on the lecture note, the content of this subject, and the progress of your assignment as well. Okay. So yeah, wait, by the way, before we start our class, Alvin, I just want to ask, I am curious if our class in afternoon you will say noon, okay, I will accept. But Ning, is that a way to write morning in Ning, noon is noon, then ah okay, then I accept that answer. Yeah. Okay, then so let's proceed with our lecture note validity. So what is validity? So validity, wait, where's my lecture note? Yeah. So validity is actually a level of access, no, level of our, oh, how accurate is our method. Mm, validity is more or less like a state of being acceptable. Yeah, the state of our data to be accepted. So in RM, validity is a method that we use to measure the um, is a method that we use to measure the validity of our data, how valid our data is. So here there are four, four types of validity. The first one is internal, construct, external, and statistical. So for type of validity, internal, construct, external, and wait, statistical validity. Statistical. Okay, and then between these four, two out of them have their threats. So we will see what is threats. Threats is actually something that will affect the validity of our work, but we will see later. And then, yeah, there are four types of validity and two types of threat to our validity. Okay, so we will go into each of this validity. The first one is internal validity. So internal validity is actually the extent to which our observed result represent the truth in the population that we are studying. That's mean the extent until which level that our observed result that we get represent the truth from the population that we are studying. So here, as you can see in this slide, confident that change independent variable are caused by the independent variable. Okay, so this one is like the one I said just now. The result represent the truth in the population that we are studying. So here, if you, I think I create, oh man. Okay, so here, if you look at this, So here, this one is the note that I took from here. So here there are many factors that can interfere or affect the internal validity of our research. So we must minimize, oh, this one. These are collectively called as confounding factor. So what is confounding factor in a research? So confounding factor is the third variable, any third variable that may have relation with our research, and it will affect the data, the data that we receive. So we must minimize the effect of this factor in order to increase the internal validity of our work. So not only your variable, because usually in a research we have two variables that we observe, but of course for some research we have other third variable. So this is what we call as confounding factor. Okay, so it can have a potential cause and affect the relationship. Okay, in statistic, a confounder, the variable that I mentioned just now, the third variable, is a variable that influence both the dependent variable and independent variable. It will cause a fast effect association. Confounding is a causal concept, and as such cannot be described in terms of correlation or association. Okay, cannot be described in terms of correlation or association, but of course they have some effect on the variable. So example, this one is the example. So different people behave differently on different days. For example, Monday blue, Wednesday success, etc. If the experiment is to be carried out on different days, for example, on Monday, we want to observe the behavior, the behavior of people on Monday, the same people on Monday and Wednesday. What will be the result, or is it the result still be the same if we conduct the observation on other day other than Monday or Wednesday? So that one is the confounding factor. So if the experiment is to be carried out on different days, will it cause the same group of people to behave differently? So this one is the one I said just now. So we observe the people on Monday and Wednesday due to this Monday blue or Wednesday success. But what if we observe the same people on maybe on Friday or Thursday or any other day than these two subject in our research? So will it cause same group of people to behave differently? So that is the variable that will affect the internal validity. Okay, that one is this one just now. So it is confident that the change in DV are caused by the IV. Okay, okay. This one is construct validity. So what is construct validity? Construct validity is actually referring to the degree which inference can be mod can be made from the operationalizations in our study. So this one is, as you can see here, how well is the result from your analysis can support the theory or the principle of your research, or can the evidence be explained in one or more way? Mm, but this one is construct. So this one is like, can we make an inference, or can we make like a statement? It's not statement. Inference. Can we make like an inference from the result of our study? Can it, and that inference that we develop from our research, can it be explained more than one way? For example, like I said in your assignment, everything that you said, for example, your hypothesis, your objective, you need to justify them. You need to state how you achieve or how you accept or reject your hypothesis. So how you accept the hypothesis, or how you say that this objective is already achieved by what evidence. Yeah, so this one is the, can the evidence be explained in more than one way? So this one is actually the example. Okay, WS construct validity. A research project showed that female programmers score consistently lower in their annual appraisal compared to their male counterparts. Thus, female must be poorer programmer. Okay, so here actually this statement is actually saying that in, for example, let's take a case study. So in a company, the female programmer, the female programmer have lower performance than male programmer. Okay, so this one actually annual appraisal is actually like I don't think you know this. Annual appraisal is like annual appraisal is like, okay, for example, in our college, yeah, in TAR, you see, if I'm not mistaken, by week 14, we have this evaluation by the student. So the student will evaluate the lecturer. Okay. So you guys will evaluate me. So from your evaluation, I will have this appraisal between me and the HR maybe or the management of our TAR, you see. So that one is the appraisal. They will tell me I am, what I need to improve or anything that the student already evaluate me. So same with the, when you go to work later, you have this appraisal. Okay, so this appraisal is very important to a company, especially for the increment of your salary or maybe your position. So it will be done annually. Okay, annual appraisal. So in the annual appraisal, there is a research, back to this slide. So there is a research that showed that female programmer have lower performance than a male programmer. Okay, but how valid is this statement? From what the, how valid is the inference? How valid is this statement? How far or up to which extent this is valid? Okay, that one is the construct validity just now. Okay, construct validity. Okay, if you see down here, okay, so from that statement just now, the female programmer have lower performance than the male programmer. So it can be due to many reasons. Okay, it can be due to many reasons. Okay, there are like a reason behind that statement, but this one is, for example, that statement just now. So it may be that the hypothesis is true and females are indeed poor programmer than the males. So this one is, the first point here is supporting the inference, the statement just now. It is true that we are poor in performing poor in programming, or that female are discriminated against and are not rated fairly in a largely male dominated work environment. Okay, this one can be another reason due, this one, this statement, the second point here can be a reason too. This one can lead to this statement that the female programmer have lower performance. Okay, it can be due to this reason. Okay, so it's true in programming, it is dominated by a male programmer. Okay, there are only, for example, no, I don't want to give example, but uh, yeah, for example, in my team, I am the only female programmer last time, so it is dominated by male programmer. Okay, it can be due to this reason too, and in the current society, those female with talent for programming would be first attracted to other profession. Okay, this one can be a reason to the statement just now too. So female with talent for programming would be first attracted to other profession. Other profession is other field. Okay, for example, lecturer, scientist, researcher, that is a profession. And then female do not care as much about performance evaluation as male do, and therefore they do not argue with higher evaluation score during the evaluation. Okay, so this one could be a reason too, that we do not care as much as you guys in the performance evaluation. But not actually we care because this is an annual appraisal. Of course, like I said, it can decide our increment in a year. So of course we care. Okay, but however, this is just a point for us, so it can be a reason. So behind this reason, behind this statement, of course there are a reason. Okay, that one is construct validity. Next is external validity. Okay, external validity is the extent to which we can generalize our finding to a different group of people. That's mean we change the subject into different environment. For example, just now, yeah, we we change the subject into different environment. So here, to what extent would the result found in the lab setting be transferable or generalizable to the actual organizational or field setting? Okay, this one I can relate to assignment by group Rachel, Celine, and Ivan, if I'm not mistaken, the group. Yeah, that's mean for example, online class, how much that we can affect or how much does the student, it's more to like working attribute that we get or that the student get during the online classes due to COVID-19. So this one is like how much this the lab setting, any result that we get any result that we or any data result that we get from the lab setting can be transferable to other organizational or field setting. That's mean we change the environment. For example, from student, then what is the attribute that you need to have in your working environment letter? So that one is the environment. So this one is the explanation or example. So in a research project, rates of defect detection. Defect detection is actually like I think you know what is defect. Defect is like a bug. So bug detection of particular testing schemes were calculated and contrasted. So it turned out that scheme A was better than scheme B in discovering defects of functionality and usability. So here in this example, what this slide trying to tell is actually they have the same subject, but due to the different scheme, as you can see here, scheme A and scheme B, because like I said, different environment, so it will produce a different result. So scheme A was better than scheme B in discovering the defect. Okay, they have the same subject, but the result is different. Okay, the student can behave differently in the class. Like I said, you can be a full flat student or the top in your class, but when you go to work, the environment is totally different. Okay, so this one is the external validity. Okay, the changes in your environment. Any questions so far? No. Okay, so let me proceed. So that one just now is external validity, different change of the environment. And then next we have a statistical validity. Okay, so statistical validity is to which extent or extent that to which extent that our conclusion can be drawn from a statistical test. Okay, this one is obviously from the term here. Okay, from our statistical data, how much or to which extent the data that we can produce from the statistic result. So here the definition is extent to which data are shown to be result of cause effect relationship rather than accidents. So here, a measure is statistically valid when can demonstrate that they did not arise by any chance. So this one is more to research that involve no, I won't say mathematics, but any data that you can produce any statistic data. any research that can produce statistic data. Okay, so of course, like I think almost all of you already, I already inform you for your research, yeah, for your research, for your assignment, that you need to interpret. First, of course, you will get the data. Okay, you get the data, and then you will analyze the data. So from that data, for example, from your bar chart or any diagram or any chart, the bar chart, pie chart, or any tools that you use, you need to interpret them. Interpret as mean as in you need to explain your data. Okay, they did not come by any chance. For example, the data is there without any explanation. Okay, so you need to explain them. For some, but not for this class lah. For some research, uh or for some research and some researcher, they will reject the research paper that have no explanation on the data. For example, we just conclude, okay, this research, for example, this research accept the first hypothesis, and then the hypothesis is this, but we did not explain why we accept that hypothesis. We did not explain how we accept, or by what reason that we accept that research. Okay, that is, yeah, you need to demonstrate that they did not arise by any chance. That means you need to have a proof why you want to accept or why you want to reject, or where did you get this value for. So you need to prove. Okay. Mm, to, to establish statistical validity, we need to use appropriate sampling and appropriate measurement technique. So sampling, I assume you know what is sampling. We take a part from the group of population. Okay, so we need to use appropriate sampling and appropriate measurement technique. Oh yeah, before I forgot, for your assignment last time, mm, I said that at least you need to get from 10 to 20, right? 10 to 20 respond. If you have questionnaire, because I'm aware not all have a questionnaire, not all as a group have questionnaire. So last time I said between 10 to 20, but then I read in a group this week, they said, they screenshot something and they said it is the best if you get 30, 30 respondent or 30 questionnaire. Okay, so you need to get 30 respondent. Uh, wait, I want to. Wait, 1 minute. Oh, I don't want to share my screen for this one because it's quite PNC. But yeah, I want to ask, since we are on this topic. Wait, I want to ask. For Kelvin, Ferrer, and Nathan, how many respondents did you receive already for your group? Kelvin, Ferrer. Oh, Kelvin, Ferrer, and Nathan. 17. Try to achieve 30. Okay. Try to achieve 30. And then for Daniel, Shak, and Alvin, how many respondents did you receive already? Daniel, Shak, 26. Shak is Konkan Shak, right? 26. Should be okay. Ivan, Rachel, and Celine, how many did you receive already? Rachel, 26. Noel, Lim, Jing, Min, and Wang Zi Sheng, how many? Same goes to Ian. Ian is 15, right, just now? Ian is 15. Vincent 17. Noel. Oh, you are the team. Okay then. Oh, sorry. So exclude Noel team because they are using some data that they collect. 15. I think this one you need to get more your group 15. Okay. So you need to get if not 30 but try to get 30 for Jonathan Ian, because I know, because yeah, I think for Jonathan Ian, I think you have no problem, right, to get 15 15 more respondent, or is that a problem? Is there any problem that you think you will encounter to get more? Mm, for this group, Farah Vincent, and just now Farah Vincent, Kelvin Shak, and Nathan. Do you will have problem to, yeah, you need to revisit, you need to analyze back. So do you think for Farah Vincent, do you think you will have any problem to get uh because actually in research there's no problem to get how many data as long as it is sufficient, but ay, wait, they just say this, I think last week or this week, that it is not that they said you need to get 30, but there's a reason. So, yeah, try to get at least 30, or if you cannot achieve 30, then try to get around that number. Okay, I'm not sure to why they set this number, but in a research, there's no such thing like we need to get how many numbers, because shouldn't be a problem actually. Okay, so I'm sorry. So you need to get more data for your research. Okay, for the group that think that you will encounter with any problem by with the data collection, you can forward me the link. Okay, I will forward the link to other student. Okay, so yeah, that's my point. Try to get around 30 student. Try to get around that 30 respondent. Okay, but actually there's no problem. But since they said at least minimum 30, then okay, there's nothing I can do with it. Okay, so this one is appropriate sampling just now, and then appropriate measurement technique. Okay, measurement technique we already learned, I think. Yeah, measurement technique. And then next we have a example for statistical validity. So here, two groups are tested on memory. By the way, just now statistical is up to which extent that we can conclude our data based on the statistical data. Yeah. So two groups are tested on memory test with and without caffeine to ensure the statistical validity. So here enough people are tested, and measure of memory is accurate. This one is best from this one is now. Okay, appropriate sampling and appropriate measurement technique, enough people to test, and measure of me- measure of memory is accurate. Okay. Okay, this one is the threats to internal validity just now. If you go back to the, I think, first or second, this one. Okay, under internal validity, yes. Oh, my bang. Okay, so under internal validity, we have a threat. This one, this one just now, internal validity, internal threats, and external validity. So this one is this one, threats to internal validity. Okay, so this one is actually like any threats, internal threats. So not limited to this one, but of course there are more many threats, but this one is the most common one. The first one is mortality, loss of subject during the study. So this one is very crucial, important, I mean, crucial, important. So because we already learned subject, for example, subject in a research, for example, your research in on the online online platform. I don't remember that group. Okay, for example, student attribute that needed in the working letter. So student is the subject of your study. For example, if your research that include the commuters of transport in KK, the subject is your commuters. Yeah. If your assignment is on the COVID-19, I don't remember the exact title, but the subject is the people. So loss of subject during the study. So why is this very important? Why is this crucial? Is because that we already, okay, for example, maybe in your research you cannot see that one. You cannot see how importance is your subject because that one is for short period of study. But for example, my research is on student that will use my learning application that have the gamification element. So my subject, excuse me. So my subject is the student. So I already have, for example, these 7 students that I use as my sample in my study. So like let's say for 1 year or 2 year, I study the 7 students. Then suddenly maybe something happened to them, so I lost one of them, so the data is lost as well. So that's why it is very crucial. Mortality, this one is diffusion, when information leaks from one subject or group to another, thus modifies the behavior. So this one, when or this one, as you can read here, when information leaks from one subject or group to another and thus modifies behavior. So that means the behavior is affected due to another subject or due to another group. Okay. And then experimental effect, inadvertent or intentional action of the experimenter that might compromise the study. This one actually inadvertent is actually not resulting from or achieved through deliberate planning. That's mean um, there's like bias in research. That means you plan what your research, because in a research of course we need to plan, but the data, the result, we cannot plan that one. Okay, so this one is this one experimental that might compromise the study. So experimental effect. And then next is history, change of the dependent variable that are due to historical or time-based event. So for some research, yeah, for some research, up to no, for some research we have the variable that we need to, of course our variable we need to keep, but for some research due to time-based event, the variable is no longer valid. So for some research, like I said, to up to some extent, even though I heard this one for PhD student in UMS, she already conducted, if I'm not mistaken, for 3 years already her research, but then her research for 3 years is no longer valid due to this kind of reason. Okay, so maybe like I said, for your assignment, for your research, for your article, maybe it won't take that long, but for some research, this is the thing that we cannot. For me myself, because I'm doing PhD research and it will take years, there's a concern if my research will be valid by the time maybe to 2021 or no 2022 if I haven't finished. Okay, that one is due to the time-based event. Instrumentation, any change or calibration on the instrument. So instrument, like you already know, interview, test, survey, checklist, questionnaire. That one is instrument. Like I said, also instrument is very, every instrument that we ask or every instrument that we use during our research need to be, what the term, need to be, it's not test, I forgot already, need to be sent to the expert to check for the validity. There's one term I forgot. So our questionnaire need to be sent to the expert. So it will of course affect your data, it will of course affect your the result if there's any change in the instrument, for example, in your questionnaire. Okay. Six is learning. So change in the dependent variable that occur due to learning done as a result of participation in the study. So this one is on learning, change in the variable. Okay. And then maturation, change in dependent variable that occurs during the course of study due to normal passage of time and development of the subject. So like I said, subject is the people, the target that we are here. The subject is, what is name, Mario? So development of the subject, development of the people that we are targeting, the sample that we use in our research. This one is placebo effect. I'm not sure if some of you heard this one before. This one is not only in research. So placebo effect, the effect that subject might compromise the result by behaving in a certain controlled way through knowledge of the result being sought. So placebo effect is actually an effect that mm, mm, placebo effect is like when we think that we are, this one, I'm not sure, this one is in medical, but placebo effect, for example, if we are sick, for example, we have fever, but then we just try to manipulate our, this one is more to mental, again, I'm not sure with this statement, you can check what is placebo effect. For example, we got fever, but then we think that we are not sick at all, then we don't feel that anymore, we don't feel that we have that fever, we are, yeah, we are not that sick anymore. So I think that one is placebo effect in, I don't know, medicine. So this one is the example, okay? So that one is placebo effect, will affect the result, okay? Regression to the mean. So regression is a statistical measurement. So the tendency for subject that had extreme scores in earlier phases to be less extreme in follow-up scoring. And then next is sequence effect. Sequence effect is the impact of our phase, our current phase to the next phase. So here from the current situation to the next situation. Sequence effect from one situation or from one phase to another phase or to another situation. This one next is threats to external validity. Drinking normal water thinking it is a medicine to get better. Yeah, I think this one, the placebo effect, right? I'm not sure to regarding placebo effect, but yeah, if we think by doing this, it will affect our result. This one is placebo effect. By thinking that by doing something, it will affect the result. Okay, that is placebo effect. By thinking that we are doing something, we'll get a better result. Next is threats to validity. Oh yeah, I want to ask actually. Is there any question just now?
Does the if there's lack of sample, does it also cause validity uh, to threaten the validity? Like only survey 100 out of 10,000 people, the result will
200?
it no like two, yeah, 200 out of
Oh,
10,000 like that.
200 out of 10,000. Actually, the larger, there's one hypothesis, the larger the number of our sample, the more accurate it is. But also in a research, there's no such thing like a number of study will show the true result. Because I remember I remember my professor said, I have this concern too last time. During my study, I said, for my subject, I only use two respondent. Yeah, seven respondent. Then I asked my panel, my professor, I said, is it enough for seven only? Then he said, there's no such thing like enough or not. But it's like contradict with the statement just now. I said, there's no such thing with the number of sample, but of course, the larger the number of sample, the more accurate your result will be. It is contradict. So that's why I said just now. This what that's why I said in earlier of your research, there's no such thing. I suggest you guys to get only for 10 to 20, but then in the group this week they said minimum 30 sample. So I do not know why they said minimum 30 sample.
Okay.
Okay, Konkenshak. So actually try to get minimum 30 sample, but if you cannot get 30 sample, then I of course you need to try first, but if you cannot get, then but like I said, of course you need to get first, but if you cannot get 30 sample, then just proceed with whatever you have, but at least try to get first, try to do more, try to distribute your questionnaire back. Okay, but later, if for the group that have less than 30, and then maybe that group, no, if that group have less than 30 data, 30 questionnaire, and if the other, if my team, they want to see the any of your assignment, and then they see why the number is less than 30, so that's where I will ask them what is the relevance of 30, why need to be 30, because they didn't state why. So I will ask them, but for now let's get 30 first. Okay, let's get 30 first. Even if you go and read some article I read a lot. Some of them only have two or three subject, two or three students that they use for their research. Okay, like I said, I don't see why, but try to get first. Okay, I think this guy is stressed already because they need to revisit their data analysis. Jonathan Ian. Okay, then let's proceed to this one, threats to external validity. Threats to external validity. So before we go, let's see what is external validity. So external validity is we can the thing that I said just now, up to which extent that we can change our environment, the environment. For example, student in online classes, we change the environment to the student in online classes, we change the environment to working environment. Okay, so here, threats external, threats for external validity, threats for external validity, other subject. We cannot assume that animal can be substitute for any human in all situations. So the subject is the human. Like I said, the subject is human. For COVID-19, the subject is commuters. For commuters in KK, the subject is student. For CGPA, student with the online, online what? Media social media. So this one, the subject is human. So we cannot assume that human can be replaced by animal in all situation. Okay, but actually there is a there is a research. Actually, because human tend to do something that is new. So this one is not related to RM actually, but I want to share something with you regarding this first other subject. We cannot assume that animal can be substitute for any other human in all situations. However, there are still research conducted. For example, they send monkey to the space to replace the human. Even though here contradict with this statement, animal cannot you cannot assume animal can be substitute for human. However, the NASA still send monkey to the space instead of human. Okay, so the monkey go to space before us human. It's not before us, but they send monkey behalf of us. I do not know what is the reason or what is the objective for their research. Okay, so that one is the other subject. And then second, other times. This one is regarding the time-based event. Just now I said, would the same experiment conducted at another time after 20 years produce the same result? This one is the one that I said I have concern on my research. Will my research will be valid even though today is now already 2021, but for some crucial, for some, um, yeah, for some crucial research, even in 1 year, the research no longer valid, especially when you're talking about technology, because the technology is keep on evolving. So will the technology that we use this year 2021 still be relevant, or still be relevant next year to 2022? So if we conduct the research today, this year 2021, will it produce the same result with the next 2020? Next year is 2022. Okay, other times. This one is time-based event just now. And then next is other setting. How the phenomenon observed in one lab, one lab can be related to similar phenomenon observed in another lab or in the real world. Okay, this one is, for example, like I said, the NASA, because I'm interested with physics actually. So other setting, for example, the research, no, it's not the research, the training of the astronaut in, because before the astronaut go to the space, they have a training somewhere that will apply the, where they will put the astronaut in a vacuum plus vacuum. There's mean there's no oxygen, there's no gravity. So will it be the same when the astronaut go to the space later after the training? So will the training be relevant to have the astronaut in the space? So this one is other setting, other phenomenon. Okay. Hmm. Okay, as you can see here, animal cannot be replaced with human. This telephone, yeah, this thing is no longer relevant to this our technology. Now, will technology gadgets bring negative effect to children? And then this one is the lab. So controls to threat of validity. So use calibrated and proper preparation equipment. So calibrated is actually an instrument that we can mark, that we can scale and we can mark. And proper preparation of equipment. Replication is duplication. Single and double blind procedure. So in a research, uh, single procedure is where the subject, for example, yeah, single, that's mean the subject do not know the, yeah, in which study group they are. The student do not know in which study group they are. That one is for single. For double blind procedure is us and the subject, the researcher and the subject do not know the study group as well. Okay, this one sometimes also important to avoid bias. To avoid bias. Automation is anything that we already set to do the automation is like, Hmm, hmm, hmm. Automation, that's mean it's not done manually. That's mean automation usually set on something to do the same thing over the different thing. For example, the same method over different subject. Okay. And then next is multiple observer. Okay, multiple observer is important as well because, like I said, there's one term in research that we call as bias. So this one is to avoid bias, because from one observer, of course, there are maybe some bias that will affect the result, so they need multiple observer. And then use of deception. Deception sounds like decepticon. Deception is the act of causing someone to accept as a true or as a valid. So within the bounds of ethic, I think there's one lecture on this, ethics in research. Okay. So use of deception. And then random subject selection. This one again to avoid bias. We cannot choose who to involve the sample. For example, you want to study a group of students, we cannot choose we want this student, we want this student. Cannot. Random subject selection. Control of subject to subject communication. Subject to subject communication, control of them. So valid research, first we this is the summary for today lecture. The first one is ethical. So in research, ethical, for example, ethical is, I think some of you, maybe, I assume you do not know that you already um, break some of this rule. Ethical, for example, you plan what is your result. Okay, you fact the data of your research. You fact the data of your you fact the data of your research. Okay, that is on ethical issue. I know there is some, but I pretend that I do not know. But make sure I don't catch you on this one. If you want to fact, make sure, no, don't fact anything. Okay, that is wrong. That is unethical. Be smart on this one. Okay, that one is unethical. And then careful. Careful in research actually. Actually, from the starting, from the planning to analysis or to your conclusion, you need to be very careful in your research. Rigorous. Rigorous is actually true and very careful. Submit second point. And then complete. Like I said just now, I mentioned complete as I can relate. Just now I said on the data, you cannot suddenly put this is your result, but you did not explain, or you do not, yeah, you do not explain, you did not justify why is this the result. And then logical. Of course, in a research, it is need to be logical and can be accepted by explanation. Logical, even okay, even though what you said in your research, what you said, for example, in your LR is logical, but you need to state where did you get that from. For example, it's not for example, every statement that you write or every statement that you make in your research, you need to have a source for that. Okay, you cannot, even though, for example, this one, for example, this is a statement. This is a statement in our article. Drink normal water thinking it is medicine to get better. So this one, I think it's not common sense, but this one is like common advice to people. But even though I know this is maybe true, maybe, but I want what is the sources to this statement? Who said this by who? Is that person valid to say this one or not? Okay, this is can be logic, but you need a reference. Hypothesis needs source. Hypothesis is assumption of your research. No, hypothesis is theory of your research. For hypothesis, you doesn't need a source, but you need to prove. Okay, so your hypothesis can be reference to other researcher or other work. Hypothesis doesn't need a source, but hypothesis need to be proof. That's why you conduct your research. Okay. Uh, and repeatable. Okay, repeatable. I think here in this context, you repeat whatever the process here. But I think on the top of this list, the most important thing is ethical. Ethical is, of course, it is very wide point. For example, you cannot duplicate others' work. You cannot fact your data. You cannot. Actually, there's a lot of things that you cannot do and research. But yeah, that is the most common one. So Any question for this chapter? Hypothesis doesn't meet access. The repeatable mean, uh, like I said in this lecture note, I'm not too sure what is repeatable, but I think repeatable means this one. I think this point is not important, but yeah, I think the repeatable, let's mean this point up here. Repeatable in research, I'm not sure, but I don't think this is important. Repeatable, okay. But the most important thing is ethical. Ethical is very important. For some research, again, I will mention PhD because PhD is the most deep research compared to master. Of course, of research and degree student. For some research, even though you already spent 10 years, no, I don't want to spend 10 years. For example, 3 years, your research can be rejected in a matter of minute. Even though you already work for it for like 3 to 4 years, it can be rejected if you are found to be uh break this ethical. For example, the data. If you want to fake your data, you don't have to announce to anyone, but you need to be wise with it. That one is most common. Data faking. Repeating the research will get same result. Repeating the research with same result. Actually, you need to see this one for this question. You need to see the context. Repeating the research will get the same result. So first, like I always remind you, we do not duplicate, we do not replicate, we do not repeat what other already done. If we do the exact same things, I repeat, if we do the exact same things with others, what they already do, that is not called as a research. Okay. In a research, there's one thing that we call as novelty. Novelty is novelty is something that remark your research that what is different with others. Okay. So there's no such thing like repeating the research. If you mean the exact research, that is not a research anymore. But if you said repeating the research will get same result, you mean in your research you have some subject, maybe you change your subject or you change variable in your research, that can be considered as a research. It will produce and it will produce different or same result, depends on the things that you change. Okay, but again in research we do not duplicate the exact same things with the previous research. That is not research. Okay, so I do not know how to answer this one, but I already answered that question. Okay, that one is for this lecture. Oh, for example, this one I can set a example for this one. For example, your group, right, Kelvin Shark, if I'm not mistaken, you're doing research on the student, the relationship between the student performance with the use of social media, right? Inter UC student, if I am not mistaken again. So your research is on that one. For example, I want to conduct a research that see a relationship between the use of social media with the student performance for UMS. That one is different. The difference is on the subject. The subject for your research is star UC student. The subject for my research is UMS student. That one is different. Okay, that is the different. Different place and different time. It's okay. Can you actually it is okay, but can you give me example first before I say it is okay? What you mean place? What do you mean by it different? Oh, US uni. This one is the one I said. This one is okay because different environment. So the result will be different. Can. So if people ask you, I will ask you like no. If the someone asks you in your presentation or anywhere, they ask you what is the novelty of your research, because in a research, like I said, it is very important. You go and search what is novelty in research. I do not know how to explain that, but novelty is something that different from your research with other research. So if people ask you for your group, Kelvin Shark, what is the novelty, then you can state that your subject, or no, your environment is different and your subject is different as well. Okay, yours is done in Malaysia and theirs is done in US, and the time is also different. Okay, this one same goes with Noel group. There's one research, but the time is different. The research already done is up to April, if I'm not mistaken, April 2020, and Noel group is the data they receive, or the data that they collect up to July or August this year. So that one is different. That one is not the same. Okay. So if people ask you, you need to know how to answer them. Okay. Okay. Uh, so we already done this validity. Yeah, validity. So let's proceed with what we haven't done for our data analysis. This one is data analysis. Okay. For this one, I want you to open extra class for this sub. Mm, no. Are you requesting or why? Wait, let me confirm with my schedule. Here, 3:30. Oh, I know. No, 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 no. Research method. Oh, yeah, but no. I think, oh man, give me 1 second to correct this thing. No, we have no class. Not this class, actually. This one is for programming class, not your class. Wait. Oh, oh. Oh, replacement, research method. Wait, give me a moment to solve this. Ignore that one. No, we don't have replacement class. No, no, no. Oh, okay. No, ignore that one. I am going to correct this. Give me 1 minute. Could be wrong. Mm, no, we don't have scheduled extra class. Not sure why, because of my mistake. Yeah, it was my mistake, not your class actually. I mistakenly copy the additional class, which is last Saturday from the timetable for your midterm. So wrong subject, could be wrong. Yes, it is wrong. Next week submit and present on Friday. This one actually miskan. Your assignment. No. Send me. Your assignment, the date is the latest submission. This one. Saturday on week 11. So Saturday on week 11 is, you see your calendar, then you know what is the date for Saturday week 11. So the presentation will be the week after. This one I already asked from the CC to extend, but she said cannot. Yeah. So this one is the date Saturday of week 11, but I give you guys until Sunday of week 11. Okay, Sunday of week 11, because if you send on Sunday, what is the difference? If you send on Saturday, what is the difference? So Sunday on week 11. Actually, I think, but I don't want to execute my plan. I honestly think that I want to extend your due date, because I know some of you, because I go to your link, I check already. I want to extend to week 12, but I know the student will share with your friend in other branches. You will surely, I know some of the student, you will tell your friend, your branch or you in Sabah, you can send on week 12. So that student will inform the lecturer. So there will be a complaint against me. So to avoid that, no, week 11. Okay. Week 11 on Sunday. So now let's move to our practical PSPP. So let's see. PSPP 7, T test. Open your lecture note. No, it's not lecture note. Practical 7 on T test. Yes. Oh, oh. This one. Okay, so open your T test. So can you get the practical lecture for T test? So, I think Ivan is not here, right? Is it? Yeah, Ivan is not here. So can we proceed? Oh, vaccine, no wonder. Oh, vaccine. So can I proceed to the practical? This practical will cover 7A, 7B, and 7C, but this won't take long. So let's proceed to our practical. So I assume you guys already opened this practical 7, t-test. So what is t-test? T-test is already explained in our lecture. By the way, t-test is a type of inferential statistic used to determine is written a significance difference between the means of two groups. So this one, a test is a test. A t-test is a type of inferential statistic used to determine if there is a significant, to see if there's a significant difference between the mean of two groups, which may be which may be related in certain features. So the t-test is one of many tools that or many tests that use for the purpose of hypothesis testing in statistics. Okay, so there are three type of t-test. First is one sample, independent sample, and paired sample. So should I? Okay, so sorry. So let's move to the next slide. We will go through each of these t-tests. Actually, one sample, independent two sample, and sample t-test. Okay, so this one is now explanation on t-test. So t-test, there are certain assumption we need to have before performing the test. Assumption, the thing that we believe to be true before perform our test. This one is like this one is assumption, the thing that we believe to be true. So we want to justify our assumption, we want to prove our assumption. That's why we use t-test. So the data should follow a continuous or ordinal scale. For example, the IQ test score of student, the IQ test score of student. The data should follow a continuous or ordinal scale. This one is a type of data. The IQ test of student, test score, IQ test score. Wow. Okay. And then the observation in the data should be randomly selected. Okay. Observation in the data. So any observation that we collect, for example, in the IQ test should be random. Okay. But should be from the group of that we are studying. And then the data should be resemble a bell-shaped curve when we plot it. This one, bell-shaped curve is actually a pattern, is a shape in our graph. Yeah, in our graph. Bell shape, you should Google. I do not know how to explain bell shape curve, but it is actually like a pattern that we will get when we are plotting our data. It should be normally distributed. So you can refer to this article to get better understanding of normal distribution. Okay, no article actually, but this one is copy paste. So larger sample size should be taken for the data to approach normal distribution. Although the test is essential for small sample as the distribution are non-normal. Okay, variance among the group should be equal. This one is for independent two sample. Okay, now we will see what is the difference between these three just now: t-test one sample and independent two sample, as well as the sample t-test. The first one is this one. Okay, in one sample t-test we compare the average or mean of one group against the set of average. Okay, one sample, mm, we test to determine whether the unknown population mean is different from a specific value. This one. This average can be theoretical value or it can be a population mean. And then consider the following example. This one is example. So a manufacturing company has taken mobile of the same model from previous month's data. They want to check whether the average screen size of the sample differs from the desired length of 10 cm. How do you think the research scholar can go about determining this? So this is like a step actually to conduct this research to get the data that they need or to achieve their objective, to see what is the average screen size, to check actually, to check the average screen size. And then so they can follow this step, so they can select group of sample mobile from the same model. This one is randomly. And then record the size of the screen, calculate the average of the screen, and finally compare the value with the set value of 10. So here they come with two hypotheses. The first one, null hypothesis. Screen size of sample does not differ from 10 cm. Okay, so this one is the first hypothesis, null hypothesis. It does not differ from 10 cm. Okay, because 10 cm is the length that they desire. So the alternate hypothesis, of course, they said they have some differ from 10 cm. Okay, and then next, in one sample t-test we okay, so this is where we will try to do for one sample t-test. So actually this one is quite easy. You go and open your data set for 7A, 7A only, not 7B or 7C, 7A only. So, okay, this one is the dataset for 7A. So you follow this step as per slide. You go to analyze, compare means, and you choose the second one sample t test. Okay, we will go through these three letter, one sample, independent sample, and paired t test. But for 7A, it's only one sample t test. And then you click on the variable, the screen size, and then you set as 10. You click option, you set as 95% of confidence interval, and then you press OK. So you should, this is my data actually. So you should get something like this. So everyone can get this one because we are using the sample data, sample or SAM data set. So I assume you get this value like my screen here. So here is the interference. No, this one is the analysis of their data. So the T statistic come out to be negative zero point 0.4. So we can treat negative value as their positive counterpart here. So the T critical is 1.962. Since T statistic that we get here is less than the T critical value, so we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So we can conclude that the average screen size of the sample does not differ from 10 cm. Okay, that one is for dataset 7A. So do you guys get the same result like mine or any problem? Actually, the dataset don't have any problem. If there's a problem, maybe it will go to your PSP, maybe. So, Pharaoh Vincent, do you have any problem with your practical 7A? No, right? Because I already did this thing and I get the result. So let's move to the next one. Next one is on two sample uh independent two sample t test. So for this one, it is actually used to compare the means of two independence group to determine whether their statistical evidence is can be accepted or not. For here, so here in this lecture, in this slide, like I said, it is used to compare the means of two different samples. So for example, two groups of athletes are invited for an experiment which group X is given placebo, in their group Y is given caffeine. So placebo, actually there's a pill for this one, but again, I'm not sure because hmm, I'm not sure regarding placebo pill, but there's a pill, placebo pill. I do not know what the exact function, but here in this experiment, group X is given placebo in the white diet, while group Y is given caffeine. So both group respiratory exchange rate are recorded to find out whether there is any effects on caffeine in their sports performance. So the group X only given the placebo and Y is given caffeine. So they want to see if there's any effect on their sport performance. So the hypothesis here is there's no difference. Of course, there's no difference between the variable. And then alternative is sport performance will be increased by taking caffeine. Okay, so for this one, you need to open your dataset 7B. So you open your dataset 7B, same with the dataset 7A. You go to Analyze, Compare Means, and you click on the Independent Sample t-test. So you select your variable there. RER, I forgot already. I already did RER. And then you set your grouping variable as exp group. Okay, experiment group. And then you click on the group of one value, the placebo, group two is caffeine. This one, when you click on define group one is placebo and group two is caffeine. And then you click or you set, I think this one is auto set already, confidence interval is equal to 95. And then you click on OK, you will get this result. My, oh, you will get this result. Okay, independent sample test and the group statistic. So the result, yeah, the result that we get or the result that we receive from our dataset should be same with the lecture note. So here I get significant total is 0.063 and 0.654 for this one. Okay, so here, this one. So the experiment result is not significant since significance is greater than 0.054. Therefore, the null hypothesis cannot be rejected. So the null hypothesis is now is there's no significance between the variable. So this one, our null hypothesis cannot be rejected. Okay, they already justify because the significance is greater than 0.05. Then the next one, or I think this one should be the last one, paired sample t-test. Okay, the paired sample t-test is the last one or the third one. So this one is used to this one is used to for sample t-test is a statistical procedure used to determine whether an unknown population mean is different from a specific value, from any specific value. So the paired sample t-test is quite intriguing. Here we measure one group at two different times. We compare separates mean for a group at two different times or under two different conditions. Okay, for example, a certain manager realized that the productivity level of his employees was trending significantly downward. Okay, this manager decided to conduct a training program for all his employees with the aim of increasing, so to increase the productivity level. So how will the manager measure if the productivity level is increased? It is simple. Just compare the productivity before and after the training program. They want to see what is the efficiency of the training program. Okay, so the training program is to increase the productivity level. So here we are comparing the same sample. So the sample or our subject here is the employees at two different times before and after the training. So this is an example of a pair to the test. Okay, this one for 7C. This one is for 7C. So for the 7C, the null hypothesis, of course, there's no difference between our variable. And then alternate hypothesis, there is a different mean between the variable. So here you open your data set 7C, same with the one just now. You run analyze, compare means, and then you select on the fourth one, which is paired sample t-test. And then you follow as this one, select tier 1, tier 2 into variable 1 and variable 2 column, and then click on the option and set the interval. This one is auto set already, 95. And then you will get this one. paired sample t-test. Oh, this one. You will get 0.00. The significant total is 0.00. Same with this one. 0.00 and 0.00. So here the p value is less than this one. So we can reject the null hypothesis at 95% confidence interval and conclude that there is a significance between the mains tires before and after the rubber material replacement. Tires and rubber. I think here is from okay, here is not related with the employees is now. However, this one is the change of their environment. Change of their, yeah. So here is greater than 0.05. So we can reject the null hypothesis. So this one we reject the null hypothesis. So this one is the alternate hypothesis that we accept. So we can conclude, or here conclude that there are significant difference between the means of tires and the tires rubber material replacement. Okay, so this one is all your result from 7A and 7B and 7C. 7A, 7B, and 7C. Okay, so that one is for practical 7A. So next week for our practical, we will go for ANOVA data set. But for this one, I think for your assignment, you need to do and try this one if you think that you want to use ANOVA. But I want to close this one. So for practical 7A, is there any question? Yeah, I think for ANOVA, we will go next week for ANOVA 1 and ANOVA 2. So is there any question for practical 7? Daniel, any question? Tan Sun Yap, Daniel. Alvin, Kon Ken Shak, Celine, Wong. Okay, so can we have 5-minute break? Until not 5, 10, because our class is until 12, right? Uh, can we have a break until 10:45? Okay, thank you. So, hi guys. So, I think regarding your timetable, right? You call it as a timetable. Oh, regarding your class schedule is already fixed. I think if you go and check, it is no longer there for research method today, 27th of August, 1:30 to 3:30. So it's already fixed. It's not longer there. So, um, since we have, I think, yeah. So I think I want to proceed with a next lecture. Yeah, next lecture. This one, time and risk management. Okay, on this lecture, actually, there is no new knowledge in research. It's more to like, uh, yeah, we will see what it is actually. So can I proceed to next lecture? Mm-hmm. It, it's here already, actually. Research management, research risk management. Yeah, we will proceed with this time and risk management. Okay, so can I proceed? Okay. So let's proceed with this chapter. Like I said, this chapter, if you open, actually 26, but it's not that long actually. It's more to like research management. Okay. So what is the content of this lecture? Chapter 8. The first one is time management on our research. And then second is procrastination. Okay? Procrastination. This is not only to student, I think to everyone, but we will see later. Procrastination is delaying work. And then next is teamwork and risk management. Okay? So, okay, for time management, as you can see, this is like I said, it's not only for research. This slide not here, but we need to go through this slide. So, do you always feel like there is not enough time in the day that you to do everything that you want? And then, have you ever sat down and thought about where all the time goes? Have you tried use any time management technique in planning your schedule? If so, what were they? Do you give up or feel demotivated if you do not keep up to your planned schedule? Okay, I summarize the whole thing. So, actually, let me try to relate this with a research. So, in a research, I know most of you do not like to read, especially you guys are boys. So, I expect most of you do not like to read the article, especially when the articles is more number or high number in pages. Okay, but of course in a research there is a need to do, there's a need for you guys to do so. So sometimes I know that you have other subject as well, but then you have this subject where this will consume a lot of your time. You need to read papers, so it will take your times. So sometimes you don't feel that you don't have enough time. So how do you want to solve this issue, or how do you can encounter back with this issue is by using a time management technique. So actually there's a lot of tool for time management, for research, for project, for development. We have like for example Gantt chart, like our yeah Gantt chart is the most common one. So time management tools you can find so many on the internet or anywhere, usually on the internet. So actually when later, this is a good advice for you when you do your final year project or your mini project later. So the first thing that you need to do, which I apply to myself for my master, my PhD as well, is you need to get the whole picture on what you do. You need to know exactly what you do. Okay, like I said, even me as your lecturer for research method, I do not know exactly what you do. You as your researcher of your research, you are the person who need to know your research, not me. Same goes with my research. I am the person, I am the scientist, I am the researcher for my research. My lecturer, my supervisor, they only guide me, but I am the person who know the most about my my research. So you need to know the whole thing. So by knowing this, your project, you can use like modularization. That's mean you break your project into a smaller part. So by having the time management technique, you can capture or you can tackle each of your module. It's not module. Yeah. Sub part of your research in a time. That's mean you have something that you can achieve. That mean that you can do something within a time that you already plan. Okay. So like I said, you need to know the whole picture, the whole project, and then you break them into maybe subtopic, subpart, I don't know. But then you have a time planning on them so that you know exactly what you do. Even sometimes we do not know where our time goes, but at least we know that even we didn't achieve anything, but at least you know that where did we spend our time to. Okay, so that's mean we use our time wisely. Or do you give up or feel demotivated if you do not keep to your planned schedule? So again, this one is not only for research. This one is very common to everyone here, especially because student. So not only for your level, actually, when you're doing PhD or any other level as well, demotivated is very normal. Sometimes you don't feel that you want to do anything. Sometimes for me myself, I don't feel like I want to read any paper in a day, because for me I need to read something in a day. But there's a time that we don't want to read, we don't want to do anything. Yeah, that is very normal. Okay, don't think that thing as something that unusual. That is very normal actually, but don't stick or be demotivated for too long. And then time management. So time management is the process of planning the best way to organize the things that you need and want to do so that you can accomplish them all. So time management is very important, especially for a student. Okay, especially for a student. Why? Because there's one term that we call as a student syndrome. Student syndrome. Yeah, I heard this term a lot back then. Student syndrome is a syndrome or is a behavior where students tend to do their work at last minute. Okay. For some people, last minute studying, for example, you want to exam, last minute studying is very, very effective because you can memorize. For example, the next day you have okay, let's say we are not in COVID-19 pandemic situation. For example, next you need to come for your test, then only tonight you study. For some people that is very effective for them, but for some people like me, no, it's not effective at all. I don't like to study before my exam. I don't, but it's depend on people actually, because I already manage. No, I'm not bragging, but usually I will manage, I will plan ahead. For example, my test in week 7, I already plan in week 1. So the next day on my test or exam or anything, I don't want to do anything. I just play with my phone or go anywhere. I don't want to study, but depends. So that one is related to time management. So, but there's still, for some students, they know that it is not effective to study only 1 or 2 days before the exam. They still do that. For some students, I said it is okay, but for those who are like me, I'm not a smart student, so I need to study weeks ahead. So how I tackle this issue is, for example, for week 7, the test will cover up to chapter 5 or 6 maybe. So what I do for each of my subject is, for example, this one is week 1. I will make sure that I will cover the chapter 1 in week 1. So in week 2, I will cover all chapter 2 and I will read back chapter 1. Everything in chapter 1 and everything in chapter 2. So in week 3, I will cover chapter 1, 2, and 3. I will like reread them again. So I won't forget and I can be, yeah, I will be more understand on the chapter. So that one is my time management. Like I said, it depends on the student because time management is very important. And then there's one syndrome, like I said, student syndrome. That one is very common in us, in you guys student. Okay, last minute work. That one is so dangerous. If you go to work, do not do such thing. The what I mentioned, there's one term, appraisal. Yeah, the appraisal thing I said just now. If you have that syndrome, that means you do your work at last minute. For example, your manager asks you to complete this system by or this module by today, and then you submitted exactly by today, then they will identify you. Okay, that will be not good in your appraisal letter. So time management is important for students because in order to be successful, students must be able to balance their time wisely among various commitments such as classes, study time, doing assignment, social time, rest time, and etc. Okay, so this one is already stated here. It is very important to balance your time wisely. Why? Because you guys are young, so you have a lot of things to do. Maybe you want to play game, maybe you want to go and hang out with your friends, so you need to spend your time wisely. But um, I think this is common when you want to achieve something. This one is not in this slide, but this one is from my opinion. When you want to achieve something, there's a thing that you need to sacrifice. Okay, but that one only depends. It's not applicable to everyone. For example, I take myself as an example. Okay, I actually my progress of my study is quite fast from 18 to 28. After my SPM until now I'm 28. I have no break in study. That's mean SPM, matrix, degree, master, PhD. Okay. So what I sacrifice my time. I most of the time, because my family is very strict in education, so most of the time I just study. I miss a lot of time where I don't have this one, social time and rest time. I don't have last time. I don't have these two things. I don't have social time. I don't have rest time. Okay. Why? Because like I said, we want to achieve something, so we need to sacrifice something. But you know what is your priority? If you're interested in study, then maybe you need to proceed to higher level. If you think degree is enough for you, then that's cool. Okay. Time management again. So time management procedure help you to become more organized in your academic and social life. Okay, so these two things is very important. Not only here in school, I mean, no, not school. Not only in your study, but in your social life. Same goes when you go to work. Okay, some of the employees, yeah, some of the staff, um, another thing that they're looking forward other than salary is the life, social life balance social life. Yeah. So for some company, it depends on the practice of your company actually. For some company, your working hours, the common working hours, I'm not sure in KK on Sabah. I think here for us last time it's from 9 to 6. Okay? But sometimes even after 6, you need to work. There is one time I work from 9 to 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning. That is so stressful. Okay, that one is not balanced. So same goes with your study. You need to have a balanced life between your academic and social. So by keeping track of your time, you will have a more responsible approach towards your activities. The purpose of time management is not only to be a good student, but also to have a life. Okay, this is very important. We only live once. Okay, you only live once. So it is very important to have a balanced life. Okay, if yeah, but sometimes of course, like I said, depends on what you want. If you want to do that, then you have to sacrifice things. Maybe I don't know, it depends on you. But uh don't waste your time over something that you cannot change. I don't know why I said it, but the purpose of time management is not only to be a good student, but also to have a life. Okay, get a life, enjoy your life. Okay, it acts as a stress management tool as well. Okay, so if you think that you like to hit the gym, go to gym after your class. If you think that you like to play basketball, go outside. Okay, depends on you if you're outdoor person or indoor. For me, because I said like I have to study, so I just take any stress management. For example, I just playing game. That's all I can do. Okay, and then set goals. It is very important for us to have a goal. Goal is an objective. So decide what you want to achieve. Like I said, if you think academic is important, for me, in my family, academic is important. So it depends actually on you. you decide what you want, and you need to analyze how to get your goals. So in your research, again, you need to know what is the objective, and you decide how you want to achieve or tackle your objective. So set specific, measurable, and achievable goals. Achievable goals. Make it as realistic. Okay. Make a realistic goals. Set specific, measurable, and achievable goals. For example, mm, at this age of something, what you want to achieve, by this age, what you want to achieve. Okay. And logic goals. I have one nonsense goal, I think, last time. It is not achievable at all. So make it sure that your goal is realistic. The goal I said just now that is so not realistic to me is I want, because I'm 28, by the age of 30, actually I want to be an associate professor. That is not realistic at all. Okay, so make sure it is specific, measurable, and achievable. And then make promise to yourself to keep the goals implemented. So like I said just now, it is normal to feel demotivated, but keep reminding yourself what is your goal. Okay, so prioritize what's important. So to prioritize is to rank the task in order of importance and urgent. So we need to prioritize as a student in a research. You need to know what you should prioritize, what should come first. So you may spend your time in one of the four ways here. Oh, this one is, I saw this one last time too. Important, not important, urgent, and not urgent. So first, what is urgent and what is not urgent, and what is important and not important. We need to prioritize our thing. So important and urgent. So it is very important and it is very urgent to do it. So you need to do it as soon as possible, and you need to do it very careful. So important but not urgent. Spend bulk of your time here, and not important. Urgent but not important. Do quickly but not perfectly. Reject or downscale. Neither urgent or important. Okay. Sometimes we doesn't know. Yeah, for research, of course, we need to have, like, for example, Gantt chart or maybe any time management tools. But for a student, I think sometimes we doesn't, I don't know. For me, I don't need a tool, but I know what I want to do in a month, what I want to achieve, and then I break in a month what I want to study. For example, in a month, maybe we will study 4 chapters. So within a week, I need to take 1 chapter to finish. Okay. And then scheduling. So schedules help us to organize and plan our time planning. Schedules also keep us on track by reminding us where we need to be or what we are planned to do at particular time. Schedule help us plan our work, and they help us work on our plan. They help us reduce an amount of procrastination. So procrastination, guys, what is procrastination? Anyone know what is procrastination? Rachel, what is procrastination? Mm, like me. Who said like me? Yeah, delaying. That's mean you feel like you want to do nothing. For example, you have weekend for 2 days. So 2 days you don't do nothing. You delaying. Yeah, you don't want to do anything. That's normal procrastination. Okay, I'm good at this. I can spend the whole day maybe do nothing. So we engage in. They have to reduce the amount of procrastination that we engage in. Develop a semester calendar of important dates for your semester class. So this one, I think this one is quite important for a student. Not why they have this lecture in this. Develop a semester calendar of important dates for your semester class. So like I said, I check my semester calendar. For example, the midterm in week 7. So by week 6, I already read chapter 1 or chapter 2 few more times. Okay, so this is very important. So by the way, I want to ask, is there any student here who have a schedule? Like you need to stick, or you need to stick on what you are doing. Is there anyone here? Wow, really? You have a schedule? Wow. For me,
I have
I
a
don't have a.
task. I have a list of tasks that I have to complete, like let's say today I want to finish one part of RM, then yeah, I have to do it.
Oh yeah, that one is cool maybe, because for me I don't have a written schedule. I don't have for example, I don't have a written schedule like timetable. I don't have that. But for me, because I'm doing two things, I'm a lecturer and I'm a student as well, so it is very important for me to keep things in track. So I don't, like I said, I don't have any written schedule, but I have a stick, like routine. Yeah, routine. I am very stick to my routine. For example, at night from 8 to 12, it is usually the time for me maybe to play game or to watch movie. And then after 12 to 6, that's the time for me to read or to do my study. So I have that schedule. So when I don't follow my schedule, I feel like something is wrong with me. If I don't play game or I don't study in a day, but yeah, that's all. I don't have I don't have a written schedule, but I have routines. Yeah, this is normal of my schedule. That's normal. Yeah, especially on Friday night, because usually on Friday night I don't know what I do. Okay, but however, it is important to have a schedule. That means you have something that you want to achieve. If not, then you do not know what you do, where your time goes. Okay, time management. Assess and plan your weekly schedule of what you want to accomplish. This one is the one I said just now. Break your objective. No, break your break the objective of your research, or break anything that you want to do into a module or into something, so that it is easier to achieve. Develop a daily schedule. If you don't have a schedule, at least try to have a routine. Okay, try to have a routine. For example, a routine for a student, maybe you need, I don't know, it depends on the practice. But like me, I was trained since a little girl. Every night, even I don't, if even I don't have class, I was trained to study every night, to read something every night. So it is stick to me until now. So try to develop a daily schedule. Okay, try to develop something that you think that you something that will bring positive thing to you. I don't know. You may put the schedule on a calendar, diary, or get a free apps to record your schedule in your mobile device. So this one I said the tools. So there's many tools out there, but for me, I cannot go with tools because I feel I have enough stress. So if I have this tool, I feel more stressed. So for me, I just have a routine that I need to follow, not some schedule. I'm sick of it. And then time management, evaluate your schedule. So this is very important. And in research, it is very important. Okay. In a Gantt chart, for example, the Gantt chart, the common one, in a Gantt chart, evaluate your schedule. That's mean for week one, what you want to do, and week two, what you want to do. Then you need to evaluate. Did you accomplish this? Did you cover this thing? Did you already finish your LR? Did you have you, or how you can you justify your hypothesis, or yeah, that kind of thing. You need to evaluate. You have your schedule, and then you need to analyze and evaluate your schedule. Okay, check if schedule is balanced and reasonable. Review and update your schedule regularly. Okay, most importantly is put them in action. That means execute your plan. You have a schedule but you don't follow them, that is, I won't say useless. It's a good effort, by the way, but try to follow them, try to execute your plan. Okay, for example, you want to play game, you need to play game every night. That's a good action, but maybe hmm, maybe you can add a bit of study after your game. And then next, this one is procrastination, not only to student. Okay, especially to not only to student, especially when doing research. When you're sick of paper, when you think you read too many paper, then you feel like, okay, that's the end of my day. So when do you procrastinate? Low interest or motivation. Okay, because we are human being, it is very normal to have no motivation at all, like feel like doing nothing, chilling. So that is very normal. What happened when you procrastinate? Increased stress and poor performance. Okay, why? Because procrastination, actually we are delaying or we postpone or we sometimes up to the point that we do not want to do our task. Okay, this will increase stress because we cannot avoid from the thing that we need to do. For example, for RM. You do not want to reach. You do not want to read article, but you know there's a need for you to do that. So when it come to the due date, it will increase your stress. That's why I said this now. Is no, this one is the another reason I don't want to study before my test. If I have test tomorrow, then the night before I will play game. I will play. I will watch movie. I don't want to study. Okay, because I know if I study the night before, it will increase my stress and poorer performance. Why? Because you procrastinate a lot, so your development will be slower. So it will affect your performance. So how to reduce procrastination? Like I said, break tasks into smaller. So break your research into subtopic, more manageable tasks, realistic tasks. Don't aim or don't try. For example, you haven't write your article for an assignment, and then you try to do that article in one night before the submission date. Trust me, research is not something that you can study or you can learn overnight. I read a few articles before. No, it cannot be done in a night. So break tasks into smaller. So it is more realistic to achieve. For example, writing a paper can be broken down into reference, reading, writing, creating, and completing the final copy. So this one is I said, if you want to relate with your assignment now, so you need to break down them. Okay, break down them into a small sub part. That means you do not complete everything within a night. Okay. When given an assignment, do some work on it right away. So at least try to read maybe the specification. Maybe for your research, try to understand what you want to do, or maybe you should do some internet surfing on your research. Okay, so you have some idea or some basic idea. Spend more time studying each day. Okay, this one is only applicable for student. This one is relevant if I want to say this to you. You need to spend time studying each day. Maybe after you already graduate, like I said, some people they are just not they think degree is enough, so yeah, that's cool. So for student, try to spend some time studying each day. So in fact now we have a smartphone, so maybe you can um save some of the lecture note in your smartphone, so when you are doing something, or maybe no, when you want to sleep, maybe you read your lecture note. I don't know. But yeah, spend time studying each day. Find a time to study. Okay, reward yourself along the way. This is common too. When we achieve something, we reward something. But yeah, but if you keep rewarding yourself, but you didn't do anything, so that's like that's another level. Okay, so reward yourself after you already done something. For example, you already done your LR, so maybe you can go and I don't know, reward yourself with anything. Okay, watch a movie. I don't know. So yeah, reward yourself because it is very important. So that one is on procrastination. So any question before I move to the next slide. Respect people who can follow the schedule. First, first time if you have schedule, I can see this. It is very hard, but I do not know how it feels because I was trained since I was young already. I don't know. So it's not for me. It's not really schedule. It's like a routine. That's mean every night, even for my younger sister, even she is on semester break, I ask her to get a lecture note from her senior to so that she has something to study. If not, I will report her to my mom. So that is like a routine actually. So it's not that hard if you can follow your schedule or routine. Okay, it's in you already. So you have nothing to be yeah. I don't know if I break it once. Okay. This one is an advice. Okay. This one, okay. I guess I didn't have others to check on me. Okay. Maybe it depends, but for example, just now my sister, I will check her. I will check her every time when she stay with me. Especially, I will make sure she will read her note. But for us, for like me, I don't have because I stayed away from my parents since I was 18. So I have no one to check on me too. But what I do is, you yourself, you need to be strict. I won't say strict, but you need to be disciplined. So you cannot do, for example, you cannot set, for those who do not have any schedule or any stick routine, you cannot do, or you cannot make some drastic change to your routine. So try to do some, for example, try to set in the day, try to set, for example, today maybe you can start 2 hours to do something, 2 hours to learn. Then maybe tomorrow you can add anything you schedule. I think that's the best advice I can do, because of course we cannot do any drastic change. Try to do something. It is, but the most important thing, like I said, try to have a balanced life. Oh, by the way, since talking about balanced life, I have a question to Kon Kenshak, since he was working before. Kon Kenshak, can you hear me? Last time when you work with M Bank, do you think that you have a social balanced life? Balanced social life when you were working with M Bank last time? Oh, cool. Because most of the, okay, then that's cool. Because most of the, when we go to work already, we lose this thing. I mean, we lose out. It's not all, but some. For example, me last time, I was so stressed, especially with this one bank in, yeah, I won't mention which bank. They are very, I don't know, they make me so stressed. They even call me for a meeting at midnight. So that's not balanced. Okay. So that one is how to reducing procrastination. Okay. If you cannot do an hour, maybe you can take 10 minutes, 10 minutes to read an article. Try to find something. This one is not only for study. This one is actually to develop our attitude. Okay. So next is teamwork. So teamwork is very important. So I think for a student nowadays, we don't have this problem where we work in a team. So what is a team? So team is usually contain two or more. Okay. Two or more people in a group. So with high degree independence, the achievement of a goal, the completion of the task. So what I can back as an example here is your article. You do your article is in a group. So you are very dependent on each other. The completion or the achievement of your assignment is dependent on your other teammate. So it is very important to have a teamwork. Not only for here, maybe later when you go out to work, anything, teamwork is very important. Okay. So like I said, you can be a smart student, you can get a fourth flat, you can be the top in your class, but if you don't have that skill, when you go to work, then you're so out. Okay, because when you go to work, you're not reading a book, you're working with people, you're applying your knowledge, not getting knowledge. So you need to know how to apply, you need how to socialize, you need to know how to work with them. Okay, so teamwork is very important. So team make decisions, solve problem, provide support, accomplish mission, and plan for their work. So this one is team. So why team? Why teamwork? Because together everyone achieve more. Okay, so team roles. So this is the relationship. So communication, gatekeeping, encouraging, resolving conflict, acknowledging feelings, setting standards, norms, and openness. That's mean, what I can say, or what I can give example to this assignment, to your assignment is, I think the most important thing is communication. You need to know how to communicate with your team member. If you think that you are not feeling well, for example, for your research, for example, you have your vaccination shot today, so you're not feeling well, so you think that you cannot achieve anything or you cannot accomplish the thing that you are assigned to, maybe of course you need to communicate with your teammate. Okay, so as a teammate too, we need to encourage people. Do not demotivated people. Okay, do not. That is so bad when someone, you will feel so bad when someone demotivate you. Okay, because I already explained, I have a lecturer who asked me to drop from study. I guess where he is now. So resolving conflict, this one, you cannot avoid a conflict in your study, in your work. You cannot avoid a conflict. There will be a conflict, but we need to know how to resolve them. Acknowledging feelings, setting standard norms, and openness. That means we need to acknowledge what are the feelings of other, what is the feelings or the opinions of our other partner. strictness, setting standard. That means we have a standard that we need to follow, and openness. That means we are open to any opinion or any discussion. We are agree to disagree in a team. Okay. Attitude for effective teamwork. So effective teams operate in an environment in which there is a two-way trust in an environment and open and honest communication. So in team, yes, usually in a team we have a leader. We have, for example, assignment. You have a leader, head leader, leader of your project. So do not put the responsibility of your assignment to your leader. Okay? No, because it is no that I think that is I won't say that's wrong, but no, don't put everything on your leader. Okay, he is a student just like you, so he is a staff just like you. They have we have equal responsibility. Okay, so it is a two-way trust in environment of open and honest communication. Okay, feedback and performance should be two ways on constant. Okay, feedback and performance is like we are. It's not that we are evaluating our team, but it's like we are giving feedback to tell maybe there's a part that our partner should improve. Yeah, something like that. Then teams accept responsibility and not blame one another for team mistake. Nor should they spend useless time in personal justification. Okay, here I can see 2 points. First, teams accept responsibility and not blame one another for team mistake. So instead of find what is the root to your to the problem of your assignment, don't waste your time to find who to blame. Yeah, don't blame people, don't blame your friends. Instead, try to find what is the root and how you can solve them. Do not blame, it won't solve anything, but try to solve. So here, nor should they spend useless time is personal justification. Personal justification is like you insist to say or to insist to justify something based on your personal opinion. Of course, you need to, but justification is important, but do not use any personal justification against your teammate. Appreciation for value of decision and respect and have mutual trust among team members. Of course, we are working together, and of course, we need to trust our team member. So, what are the characteristics of effective team? Members have a clear goal, achieving goal. So so okay. Members have a clear goal, focus on achieving result, plan for achieving the goal. Members have clear roles, members have committed to the goals, member of component, competent achieve decision through effective interpersonal skill, know each other well, and each member feels empowered to act. Each member has a high standard of excellence. Teams is open to new ideas, periodic self-assessment, share leadership, and recognition of team member accomplishment. So let me conclude. Okay, maybe you can go to it one by one. It's a straightforward statement, but let me conclude. So in a team, first, of course, you need to know what is the goal, why you are working together, why you need them in a team. So you need to know what you want to achieve. Okay, that one is the first one. Second, you need to know what is your responsibility, what you are assigned for, what you need to do, what you want to achieve. That one is very important. Then third, I think you need to respect your teammate. You need to no team. You need to respect the other student in your assignment. Okay, try when they're trying to give an opinion, try to listen and try to understand their concern. Okay, so I think that conclude these three things. So what you need to remember in a team, when working in a team, that's mean other uh you need to accept others opinion. Okay, and then risk management. So can I move or any question on risk team member? Can I move to risk management? Oh, by the way, since we are on this part, I just want to ask, is there anyone in this class who are interested to pursue study in master or in postgraduate study? Is there any? No? Yes? Me was still considering. By what do you mean by me was? What do you mean by was? Me was. What do you mean by me was? Still considering, but now no. Terrified. Why you are terrified? I think Jonathan Ian, you're a smart student. I don't think you will have any problem, or I don't think you will encounter with any problem. I am not a smart student, but I can say that I am a no. Yeah, I have this one too. Actually, let me share with you guys something. This is very normal. Wong Nyap Hao. Okay, this is very normal. When we're doing some, or for example, okay, let's take me as an example again. So when I was a degree student, I didn't even know if I can complete my degree within 4 years. I thought that I'm going to extend. So for me, that was not thought at all. I just want to grad on time. Okay, GOT, grad on time. So I don't feel like I want to pursue my study in master. None at all, until I received offer, because my master was an offer from UMS. So like I said, education is important in my family. So my mom forced me to get master. So I pursue my master. And then in my master, still in study, I got an offer to pursue again from UMS. UMS offered me to pursue study in PhD. So for me too, when I was doing my master last time, I thought that I am going to be with UMS forever. I am going to start with them forever because there's no way out for me. That was my part. But I don't know. I think I got luck. I got luck. I'm lucky enough. I passed my master and I accept the offer from UMS. That's why I pursue PhD. So if you don't even know that you can complete your study, that is very normal. I'm not surprised later if you won't pursue your PhD. I won't be surprised at all. Sam really susah. Sam like Wong. This Sam really susah. Oh, by the way, don't be affected. Okay, there's another sample because I'm a living proof of not smart people. If you think, once I got CGPA 1.98. CGPA is the cumulative. No, it's not cumulative. One semester I got 1.98 due to one subject. I got D. So it's like dragging down my pointer. But if you think only because of one subject of one semester, it won't affect anything actually. It won't affect anything. I got 1.95. I don't know what the subject already. Okay? Because like I said, doesn't mean when you are not good in something, that's mean you are not good in everything. For example, what subject? Uh I'm not in a position to give advice to on how to study because like I said, I'm not a bright student. Oh yeah, scholarship. So yeah, for scholarship you need to maintain. So but don't worry. I think everyone can pursue postgraduate study. But of course there's a requirement to proceed with it. And one thing you need to know, okay? For postgraduate study, for master study, this is just a sharing, okay? First, we need to know when doing master or PhD, it is not, I don't want to say it's not that hard, but I'm very sure you will hear a lot. It is hard, but I think the hardest part is how to get there, how to get that ticket to pursue your master. Because, for example, um, in UMS, there are limited, like limited what? Limited seat, limited, I don't know, limited seat maybe for a student, limited intake. Okay, for example, one lecturer can only take one, two, three. There's number of like the number of students that. So the competition to get there is very high. So I think that is the hardest part only. So you need to compete, of course. Yeah, you need to compete for that part. But like I said, I'm not smart. I just got lucky enough. Yeah, I just got lucky enough. So that's why to get there is hard. Trust me, because I was there. So next is risk management. I have a question. Noel, do you think you want to pursue postgraduate study? Noel Lian Lee. Yeah, correct. No intention to rush. You don't have to rush, like I said. If you're not interested, I just discussed, no, I just talked with my friend regarding this one. I told him, a best friend of mine, he is currently in KL working. He is currently working in the industry. So he want to gain experience first. So actually, I want to share something with you. There is two opinion on this. First, if you want to pursue directly to postgraduate study or you want to work, there is a pro and cons on this. First, if you directly, hmm, for example, if you after degree you directly go to master and then you go to PhD, you have no application of your knowledge. The thing that we learn in class is different when we want to apply them in the field, in the industry. So, mm, okay, okay, here, no. The answer to me, in my opinion, no. Why I say no? Because, okay, in IT field, let's talk about, okay, for example, now you have degree, right? So, for example, you have degree. So, degree is enough. Like I said, my friend, CGPA, CGPA not up to 3, not even reach 3, but she's now a leader in a group for HP. HP is HP, your laptop. So, master doesn't bring any significant value to you when you go to work. Trust me. Not even in, maybe in salary, it only in IT. I'm talking about IT field. I'm not talking about other field. I do not know about that. For in IT field, because I got my master, so I go to compete with other competitor. The difference is only in the salary, only different few hundred. For in knowledge, like I said, when you are fresh graduate, no matter if you are degree student or master student, they will take you as a fresh grad. Okay, there's no assumption that, oh, she is a master student, so she is better than degree student. No, there's no such thing, because we are equal to zero. I mean, we have no experience. We both have no experience. That was my case last time when I was a master. There's only high, a bit slightly high in my salary, but as in, if you want to ask, master really important for IT field? No. Especially when you're doing, no. This one is no. It depends. Work experience is important. If you want to enhance your skill, work experience is important than research, because whatever we learn is only a theory, not what we apply. Like I said, it can be different. Okay? Work experience is more important. But I have working environment later on. Like I said, yeah, like I always said in our class, don't take fully advantage on this online class. That means you don't want to study at all. That means you only study for your exam, since this is an online class, so you can search everything on the Google. Don't take advantage. Don't take fully advantage on that, because uh, there will be a time when, I think I already told you guys this, that when we want to go to work, especially programmer, we have a test. So sometimes what we learn is not what we will apply. Yeah, the IQ test. This one I never thought that people will ask me. But I'm quite surprised with the test too. But IQ test, I don't know too. But yeah, they will ask IQ test is the way from, I don't know, IQ test. But if you want to go to work, if you ask me what is important, if you want to be a lecturer, master and PhD is important. But if you want to go to work, if you want to go to field, field is working. If you want to go to play in the industry, working experience is important. Some of my friends, they only have diploma, but due to the number of experience, due to the years of their working experience, they reach more than 10K of RM 10K. RM 10K more. So it's not surprise actually. I have a friend who have 15K, 20K of salary in the field. God, this one is very common when you want to be a programmer. Depends on your position. If they said programmer, then you need to do programming. Sometimes it's more than this one. But yeah, I have a free advice to you guys. Later when you go to interview, you need to be, what's the term in English? I forgot already. I forgot already what's the term in English. But we need to tough. You need to be tough. That's mean whatever the interviewer said to you, just take it positively. I once got rejected because he compared me with other candidate. Then he said that this is not enough. I won't take you. Then yeah, just be tough. If you go to interview, once I went to an interview and I cried because of the interviewer. So be tough on your interview, okay, and be prepared as well. And then next is risk management. So the systematic process for the identification and evaluation of pure loss exposures faced by an organization or individual. Risk management. I heard this term a lot. And for the selection and administration of the most appropriate technique for treating such as exposure. So we need to measure the risk. Okay. So risk can be this one: reputation, emotional, facilities, physical. So reputation negative publicity for you and or your teammates and activity and or your college university. So this one is very important, especially when you go research method. Okay. So for your research, so it is very important to concern on this, on the reputation of our college or our university. Emotional, cause a person receiving your service to feel aliened or something negatively impact the psychology well-being of a member. So like I said, be nice to your member, be nice to your friend. Okay, they have feeling, so you need to be mm, when you want to say something, you need to filter, you need to think what you want to say, filter your words, filter your action. And then facilities, property, hardware or software damage, lack of required equipment of material. This is very important. Okay. Risk can be, I lost this one too. This laptop that I'm using now is not my laptop because I just lost my laptop was 10 years. I used my laptop for 10 years. Then suddenly it got some damage, so it cannot be used anymore. So I lost everything, including my PhD project that I need to redo again because of this hardware. And then physical injuries from physical activities, accident or unintentional acts. Okay, this one can be considered as a physical. This one can be considered as a risk. Okay, step for risk management. How do we solve or how do we tackle the risk? So identify possible risk. We need to identify what is the possible risk and recognize what can go wrong. This one is before it go wrong, so we need to identify and we need to analyze them. So this one is the analyze. We need to analyze what is the risk and then rank what is the priority, what is the urgency, and what is the probability as well as the impact of the risk, and develop a contingency plan. This is very important. You need to have a contingency plan. Same goes to your study. If you think that you cannot make it to the industry, but I think for IT field, we don't have any problem. So, for example, this example, if you cannot go back or you cannot find a job, then maybe you need to have this contingency plan. What you want to do, maybe start a business or maybe pursue your master. That is an example. But like I said, IT, we don't have any problem. I'm not sure in Sabah. Okay, risk item checklist used as one way to identify risk. And the purpose of creating a checklist is to raise your awareness on the type of risk that might be involved in your research activities. Focus on non and predictable risk. That means we already list and we identify our risk. So we are aware of our risk. Okay, then this is the example. Example activities, possible control points to be considered. So working with computer, we need to have a backup. So free advice, do update or do backup your data. Okay, I lost mine once, so yeah. And then virus protection, ensure antivirus software is up to that. Okay, again, some people, I'm not sure if IT student do the same too. They have more than one antivirus in their laptop. By I don't know why they have more than one virus. Kaspersky, Mac, it won't help to reduce. just get one antivirus, virus protection. Using computer for long period have works breaks incorporating stretches. Computer equipment devices have contingency plan if the devices are not functioning properly. This one is the same with computer backup, especially on your data recovery. And then working with confidential data, so data security. So data security is a protection of our digital data. Okay, ensure the confidential data is kept safely, incorporate password security protection. Okay, so there's one, it's not one method, but it is suggested that we change our password every 3 months. Okay, so keep user as anonymous. Do not reveal the identity of the studied sample. This is very sensitive in research. Okay, you need to keep, for me, myself, my research, I am very strict on this one. I won't reveal any confidential information regarding my subject, especially my subject. Sharing of the data, get consensus before sharing. Ensure the data sharing does not violate data privacy rules and act. I think you know this one. You need to get a permission before you share any of their data. And then this one is an example. Who will you be working with? Member of the public or volunteer? Completion of ethic requirement. You need to know who you're working with. And then undertaking joint research. Awareness of intellectual property requirement. Agreement in place and with supervisor, tutor, or external party, working out of hours or alone. So personal safety, you need to know mm, your personal safety, premise securely, and procedure. Okay. This one I leave you guys to read. Okay. So risk need to be monitored periodically to ensure changing circumstances do not alter the risk priorities. So very few risks will remain static. Therefore, the risk management process need to be regularly repeated so that the new risks are captured in a process and effectively managed. So this means that it is very important for us to manage our risk wisely because there are a few types of risks and we need to be aware and we need to um, we need to be aware of the risk so that we can manage and solve the risk. Oh, that's the last page. Okay, so like I said, this one is more to like, I don't know, psychology, research management. So any question? Any question? Any question except your assignment need to be submit next week. So today is Friday. So maybe someone tonight or tomorrow I will check the link again. Oh, I have a question to Konken Shak. Konken Shak, previously you said you're working in a bank. Kelvin Shak, I will distribute them. Okay, send me the link. I'm just curious, Konken Shak, why you changed your field? Because if I'm not mistaken, previously you was in the front end, so you were the teller. I mean, why do you change from front end to the IT field? Is there any relation? Hmm, he's not responding. By the way, two things you need to know: academic, master, postgrad, or what? Just now, industry. Yeah, there's different meaning in this industry. Is they are totally different field. For example, I am a introvert person. I don't like to talk. Actually, I like doing my work alone and in a team. But when I go to this academic, I need to talk a lot. So there's another different of my, I think, the way that I perceive things. But if you ask me which one is important, working or study, and in postgraduate study, it depends on what you want to do. Like I said, if you want to be a lecturer or you want to be a researcher, postgraduate is quite important. But if you're not interested in studying anymore, So just go with degree and go to the field. That's cool. Because in IT, even though now during the pandemic, in my circle, in those who are involved in IT, I never heard any of them that got uh, terminated. I mean, they are not affected at all due to this COVID. Some people in some field they are really affected. The business need to close. The business need to shut down. But for IT, I don't see any of my friend. So I don't think there is any problem if you want to find a job in IT field because yeah, because IT is like needed. So yeah, you need to know what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Okay, so any more question? Oh, I have Alvin, I have a question. Alvin, do you plan to go to the industry or do you plan to pursue your study? Alvin and Rachel, what do you think? Rachel, do you want to go to the industry or do you want to pursue your study? Anyone want to share their own thought? See first. Oh, see first. Yeah, because you guys are still on your. That was very normal. You do not know what you want to do. Me last time too. I didn't know what I want to do. Ferry Vincent, where do you want to go after your degree? Actually, working in the industry is very fun. Industry and academic, I can say industry is very fun. I don't know yet. Yeah. So if you are confused, but I think most of you will go to the industry. Okay. So any question before I think we can dismiss since you have class at 12. So any question before we dismiss? Internship very fun. Internship, internship very fun. Oh yeah, internship. Yeah, internship. So I think we can dismiss now if you have no question. So see you on next Friday. Bye bye guys. Thank you.